So I just thought I'd make a quick video on just maybe the reasons on why I choose to be sober. Um, because there's not that many people I find that that are sober from many any addiction basically. There's no one. There's no one really on the planet that's completely sober from addiction. But I'm trying to move towards that because like when you really break it down, like an addiction, a lot of people have addictions that are just so subtle that it's kind of like it doesn't even, like, most people wouldn't even consider it being an addiction. Like, even for example, like I have an addiction of let's just say checking out women, where it's it's like that's considered normal, whereas actually what's going on is I'm like putting out some sexual energy, hoping to get like either like hoping to get something in return. Basically, that's why I'm doing it. Like I'm not necessarily intellectually aware of that, but it's because it's such an automatic, natural thing. Doesn't mean it's not an addiction, because it definitely is, because it's driven by something. It's driven by, all addiction is driven by a feeling of lack, basically. So, like for me, yeah, it's been interesting, like giving up like certain addictions that I've had. Trying to think, like even drinking. I wasn't necessarily super addicted, but even just cutting alcohol, like what it's doing is helping you feel social. Like, you go into a social situation. Most of us are generally kind of shy, but you have a few drinks and you're like life of the party. That was the reason I used to like to drink anyway. So obviously I have a feeling inside myself of lack, that I can't be like that without this drug. Same as coffee. I look at caffeine exactly the same way. Most people consider it just like a normal day-to-day thing, but what drives us to have caffeine? Because we want some energy. We want to be productive. It makes us like super productive, super like, yeah, just driven. So what's it covering? It's covering the fact that most of the time I don't really feel driven. I don't. My energy's not that good. It's basically what you're getting from these things. Just take that and look at the opposite thing. Why you're taking it. What's the reason I'm taking this? Otherwise, you would never take any drug. So if you broke it down, okay, I don't feel very driven. Why don't I feel driven? If I take the drug, if I take caffeine, it lets me skip over the reason why I don't feel driven, and it just puts me in this state of, oftentimes it's not good for the body. It puts us in this state of stress and anxiety generally, but it gives us the drive for that period of time. So, like for me, what I'm trying to do is break down what is this thing that I feel so drawn to do. What is it helping me avoid? And then if you try and find the cause, the reason, like for me, I haven't felt driven heaps of times in my life. I haven't felt like, I felt very apathetic, like huge procrastinator. And if I break it down, it oftentimes come back to just feeling like, well, sometimes I just don't feel like doing something, but sometimes it's actually like I don't feel like I'm good enough to do that thing. I don't feel capable of being able to complete this task or whatever it is. So if you take the drug, it helps you skip over that, and you're gonna have to sort it out one day. So I feel like you're better off, for your own health, for your own not just health, but like imagine like with alcohol, for example. Like imagine being able to be that social. Imagine if you develop your own feelings of self, like self-worth, value, that you can actually completely be yourself in social interactions. It's where you won't ever need a drug. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons I actually like being sober. And like probably my biggest I like being sober because it helps me figure out what my biggest issue is at the moment, in a way. Like, and it's like, do I want to develop that, or do I want this quick fix right now that's going to that I'm going to have to rely upon every time? So yeah, so the one I've been trying to break recently, like a huge addiction of sexual addiction, actually. So it's like I'm still struggling with this. It's like I'm trying to break that down. What am I trying to avoid here? Like, for one, I'm like, from some things that I've worked out so far is actually, like, I don't feel very let me just say this first, that like, I don't think there's anything wrong with sex at all, like, straight up. I think it is a natural thing, but it depends if you're using sex to make yourself feel like, to avoid some other issues in your life. That's when it's an addiction. So it's just flat out anything. If you're using anything to avoid how you're really feeling in the moment, like, I'd classify it as an addiction. So yeah, so I'm really trying to break that down so I can develop myself from a pure space, I guess. Yeah, like another addiction I have is I think trying to be introverted and hide yourself away is an addiction, because it's a technique I use to avoid fear. So I don't put myself out there because I'm going to be afraid at the moment. That's just, I have those fears, so I'm not going to put myself out there. So I have an addiction to avoiding situations where, like, my personality is exposed. So but I think if I keep avoiding that, then I won't be able to develop myself, so I can be myself in all situations all the time. Like, that, to me, that'd be a fucking awesome place to be. So yeah, that's all that's coming to me right now on that. So yeah, we'll talk again later. Bye.